Greetings, welcome to another day of Autoforge development. Today we worked on interaction with entities, so let's get into that. First we'll show you what it looks like in the game, and then we'll get to some code. So here we can place down a little chest. We'll just have it, floating in the air. That's cool, right? And first off, you can see that it displays this text interact. So that's something that's new. We'll get into that in the code in a bit. And then if we press E, bam, we can see that it opens up this inventory. Right now it's empty. If we move away from it, then we can drop some puddings into it and see it fills up. If I press I, we can see that we have this other one here. And now you can see I actually move that item, that chest, over into the other chest. So it's like we got that basic interaction working. There definitely could be some things improved, like being able to maybe have two inventories open, or just grabbing items off of your toolbar or something along those lines, to make moving items easier. We'll get to that later, sometime down the road. So yeah, let's look at what code was required to get this functionality. We have this event component that's like the most important thing. So an event component is going to go onto any entity that we want to have kind of supply different events. So this first one we have is interact. We'll just have this event component contain all of the different types of like events that it could possibly have listeners to and react to. So interact's the first one. We might have other things such as harvest or collect. We'll see. I think in Korea I probably had about a dozen or so different ones. And so we can just define what that looks like here and say that it's optional, so we don't have to provide that. And so in a prefab, we have our interact function. So this is for the gold chests. And it has this interact function that we assign to this event. So we say, okay, here's this new interact event, and we want it so that whenever this is triggered, we change the render component for the interacted entity, this gold chest, make it be open, and then we want to get the inventory UI from the UI manager and set it to be the entity that we're interacting with, and then show it. And that's it. Really basic, little interaction. I did have to change some things around with our UI manager, so it would actually be able to get access to this inventory UI, which is a object in Lua, or here inside of TypeScript, instead of the like view that lives in C++. But anyways, and then the other two parts deals with the input, where we try to interact with it. So we just say, hey, handle this interaction. If you press E, which is defined up here, then let's try to get the entity that you are trying, or like see if we're interacting with anything. If we do find something and it has an event component, then check to see if it has an interact event on that event component, and if it does, then invoke it. So that just like goes through all the steps to make sure that we are properly interacting with something. And then the last part of all of this is having it so that we can actually interact with it. So that's like two things. One is detecting, and that this is kind of the more like help text, telling the player that they can interact with this. So there's this primary action text. I'll probably change this around a little bit, make it be a little bit more flexible here. I say I want to have it so that we can change the styling instead of having it be like hard-coded here. And then down here, we get this interactable, just like what we did inside of the input component. And then we check to say like, hey, if this thing is interactable and it has, an interact event, then let's set the primary action text to be this, e interact. This is again hard coded. We would like to, be able to dynamically change what this input is. So like, somehow be able to translate input into text or possibly like a little icon. And then lastly, that sets the position. And here's the last thing we do is where we actually will draw that text on the screen. And so that's how all of that kind of comes together for the interaction. Works well. We can, I think, maybe clean this up a little bit and just keep moving forward. Well, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.